Here's what the Beyond the Back Four panel had to say about United's derby disaster at City.
Right, let's talk about Manchester United. Was it dysfunction from United yesterday, Dan, or was it City being excellent?
So we began the game pretty badly. With the first 20 seconds, Haaland almost scored. Apart from that, I felt we were actually in the game. We played pretty well, kind of leading up to the goal. And then, the problem with United is when we're trailing, it's hard to get back into games. We've seen it so often under Ruben Amorim. If we don't score first, which we often don't, we're going to struggle. We're not strong at scoring in the first half at all. I think we've scored one of the lowest rates of goals in the first half under Amorim in Europe. And you kind of knew that the second goal was going to be crucial. So, I think we kind of played reasonably well, but City were just ruthless. And, that's what we're lacking at the moment in the final third. We're not scoring the goals. We're creating chances, but we're not necessarily creating quality chances. And when half chances are there, when we're kind of snapping at them.
Graham, what was your take on the game and the tactical battles?
I thought that Pep knew what was coming. I don't think Amorim knew what was coming from City. And we started from the team selection. Phil Foden playing centrally. I don't think many people predicted that pre-game. And United just didn't cope with him. You saw him advancing into that gap in between the defenders and the midfielders. And Ugarte was looking around for help and wasn't getting it. Reinders was pushing on as well. There was no one tracking him. And it was just so overbearing from City on United. Doku getting time in the ball. Bernardo Silva, who I didn't even think had a good game, but United struggled to cope with him really. And I thought City weren't there for the taking, but O'Reilly and Kushinov at fullback, United didn't look to press on that option at all. And I just think that City were pretty comfortable. I don't even think City were that great. But Phil Foden, I love seeing Phil Foden at his best. And he wasn't at his best, but I think he was outstanding. To see him like that again gives me hopes that he'll be back in the England contention very soon. For me, my favourite English midfielder. I think he's the most talented. And I thought he ran the game and United couldn't handle him.
I think we kind of lost more control in the second half. And, we came into it in the last 10 minutes. But I think we've gone to the Etihad in previous years and been absolutely played off the park. I think that the time we conceded 6 under Ten Hag. There was another couple of games under Ten Hag where we demolished. By comparison, there was a level of improvement in this game, but it was just, City were ruthless. And to be fair, City probably could have had a couple more. So it could have been worse. But I think overall, our performance wasn't as terrible as, it has been in the past, but it was mistake laden.
Is that, in any sense, is that a reasonable way to judge the performance, to think, well, it wasn't as bad as when we lost 6-0? Because realistically, Manchester United should never lose 6-0 to anyone. So to think, well, we'll just judge it by that. It could have been worse. We didn't lose by 6. And this is a City team that were below United before the game started.
Yeah, I'm just kind of leaning back, to some of the big overreactions we've had in the past about heavy defeats and awful performances against City. I didn't feel this was kind of in that category. So it's just trying to kind of temper my own reaction to the display and the kind of form we've had this season, where the performances have been better than the results suggest. And obviously that can only last so long. But there are kind of some signs there where we're, got some positives. I mean, you look at Brian Mbeumo yesterday, he was our best player. Unfortunately, we didn't have 11 Brian Mbeumo's, because if we did, we would have probably got a result.
Do you think, when you look at someone like Brian Mbeumo and you think, Graham, maybe this is something you can weigh down, you see a player like him who's come and he's new to Manchester United and he's trying really hard, but at the end of that 90 minutes and he's lost 3-0, that frustration is going to set in. And we see this, and this is something that has happened, is a sort of a pattern you can point to at Manchester United. People say when people leave, they're better. And I don't think that's true. I think they're just in a different environment. I don't think they become better football players or anything. But is there a possibility that in 3 months, Brian Mbeumo is the new, Anthony, where he just gets dragged down? Because you're right, he is the player that yesterday you go, well, he was the best one. And you could say the same against Grimsby, but then he was the one who missed his penalty against Grimsby. So he's the one that then gets the pressure and the complaints and the moans. and then slowly does he just get dragged into the mire?
Well, obviously, from a United point of view, you hope not. You hope that he can drag the rest of them out of the mire and help them get where they want to be. I think you have to do it. I think there are, glimpses of positivity there for United. Euro and De Ligt, I think, look very good at the back at times, and there could be a foundation that United build upon. How much do we go on team selection and formation? That's something we can debate until the cows come home. It's like suddenly bringing Mazraoui in on the right and putting Diallo where he was. I think there's some very. I think Amorim is an outstanding coach, but I do the majority of this squad believe in Amorim's system? I'm still not convinced by that. And as we'll keep coming back to it, if the captain's not convinced by it, and the captain is there flouncing around on the pitch like Bruno Fernandes was, as he does whenever I see him numerous times, I think that's a problem. And I think we'll talk about it more in depth, I guess, in the future. But I just think the big problem at United, the elephant in the room, is Bruno Fernandes and his system. And until United solve that, I don't see the team moving forward.
For the full debate on United's struggles and the rest of the Premier League weekend, head to Beyond Back 4.